What's going on YouTube? It's Draggy back at it again. I feel like last video I was a little rushed because of losing the previous media, so I just wanted to film that quick and get a video up and kind of keep stuff updated. But I feel like because I was rushed, I didn't really get to elaborate like on a lot of things that I wanted to say. Like I tried to cover a little bit of the NBA draft and I covered Markelle Fultz and Lonzo Ball, so I apologize. I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on that. Fultz and Ball obviously going 1 and 2. I think they're definitely going to have an impact on their teams. Number 3, I was really shocked about Jason Tatum going to Boston. I for sure thought they were going to draft Josh Jackson. When they traded away the number 1 pick and they said that they can still get the player that they wanted at number 3, I definitely thought that Josh Jackson was going to feed their needs a lot better based on how much they were really into Markelle Fultz. So I thought they were just looking for that player. But I can definitely understand why they took Jason Tatum. I think that was great. Josh Jackson going number 4, though, to the Suns. That's going to be pretty interesting, I think. Him and Devin Booker, like, going to put up some work in Phoenix there for the Suns. I think it was a little bit different. I kind of thought that he was going to go to like a more high-profile team, like one of the top 3 for sure. But I mean, that's cool. Like, good for him. I'm super happy to see that he got drafted. Pretty wicked. I'm pretty impressed with like the entire draft class altogether. Actually, it was like I said before, it was a pretty deep draft. And I feel like a lot of them are going to come into their own and like definitely help out their team a lot. De'Aaron Fox, there was a lot of talk that De'Aaron Fox was going to be better than Lonzo Ball. I mean, I guess we're still not going to find out until next year, but or even for a couple of years for that matter, depending on when they can finally come into their own. I loved watching De'Aaron Fox play, especially in the NCAA tournament. It was phenomenal play styles. I think he's going to do absolutely phenomenal. Like I said, I'm just really happy with the way that the draft class is this year. I think that we're going to see a lot of exciting players for some time now, and I think it's going to make a very exciting NBA season next year. We got Miles, we got Kennard, the Raps down at number 23 there. There was rumor that they were going to trade the 23rd overall pick and Valanciunas. They never really elaborated on exactly what they were going for there. I think they were just going to try to trade up a little bit. I don't know who they had their eye on at all, but I definitely think that they shouldn't have traded Valanciunas unless they got another plan for center. I know there's a lot of ups and downs when it comes to JV there. Some people like him, some people don't. I personally think he's good. I really like the way that he works. I'm also hoping that they re-sign Ibaka. I definitely think they need him to play the power forward role there. He's a phenomenal player. I think that they're really going to lose that if they lose him there. I'm from Ontario, so talking about the Raps, that's why that was a pretty important draft pick to me right there. Kyle Lowry apparently wants to stay in Toronto now. I don't really know what's going on with that. I think it's going to be different for sure. He originally said that he wanted to leave for Philly, but then when Philly traded up to draft Markelle Fultz, that's obviously going to be the point guard that they're going to be going with. So there's really no need anymore. And then after that happened, Kyle Lowry all of a sudden said that he never once said that he wanted to play away from Toronto. He wanted to stay there. He loves the team, yada yada. So see what's going to happen. Personally, I think he's like a touch and go player. Some nights he's good, some nights he's bad. Him and DeRozan have good chemistry, but I feel like DeRozan could probably build chemistry with other people as well. He didn't really show up in playoffs all that much. I don't know, kind of like a one-dimensional player in my opinion. I definitely think they should try for somebody else. Chris Paul and Blake Griffin both opting out of their contracts to hit free agency. That's kind of big. The Spurs said that they were after Chris Paul for sure. So kind of see what's going to go on there. I know Blake Griffin mentioned 4 teams that he really likes, or 4 places, I guess, that he really likes to play for. Toronto's one of them. I guess if they can't re-sign Serge Ibaka, then they definitely should try to pick up somebody like Blake Griffin. Why not, right? Give that a try for at least a year, see how that goes. Griffin obviously brings like his own talent and is a powerhouse of his own. Yeah, overall, I'm pretty impressed with like what's going on. Let's talk a little bit about that Jimmy Butler trade. That was absolutely insane. The Bulls and the T-Wolves putting up some work there. Honestly, I'm not really sure who won that trade. I think Jimmy Butler going to the T-Wolves is going to be absolutely insane. Playing with Wiggins and Anthony Towns there, that's going to be unbelievable to watch next season. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think that they're going to start dominating a little bit more. Losing Zach LaVine and Chris Dunn along with the 7th pick, it kind of seems steep. I understand Butler is like a player in himself. He's absolutely phenomenal. But I mean, LaVine, aside from injury, is like a dunk champion. Chris Dunn, he's going to come into his own, and I think he's going to be like definite superstar caliber, so that's going to be interesting. And then the 7th overall pick, I think it's definitely going to be interesting to see where they pan out with that, where the Bulls end up going with that. It'll be really interesting to see in the next couple of years how that plays out. But I am really excited to see Minnesota start tearing up next season with that. I think Wiggins and Towns already do a great job. I think they got like some more pieces there that are going to do absolutely phenomenal. But adding Jimmy Butler to that mix just made them an incredible team, and I think they're going to be a lot of fun to watch against some of these new Western Conference teams. I mean, the Spurs are going to look a little bit different next year. The Lakers definitely look a little bit different next year. Clippers with Paul and Griffin opting out, I think are definitely going to look way different next year. So I think the Western Conference is definitely going to have like a little bit of a mix-up next year. Obviously, with Golden State probably winning another championship. Not going to lie, this absolute powerhouse of a team. Durant put that team on his back in the finals there. Absolute phenomenal performance. Let's move on to the NHL draft. Between Nico and Nolan, 1 and 2. Good for Nico for him going first overall. That's Switzerland's first ever number 1 overall pick. So, I mean, they got to be super hyped for that. I don't really know exactly how he's going to fit into the Devils. I definitely saw Nico going first overall in the draft, but I thought that Nolan Patrick was going to fit a little bit more of the need. I think that he's a little bit more NHL ready to play. Again, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think for sure. I think that's definitely going to be a comparison that we're going to have to see, if not next season, then the next one after that. See how that 1 and 2 draft pick end up plans out for them. I think the Leafs, again, I'm going to go back to Ontario here. I think the Leafs got an absolute steal with the defenseman. I think it's Liljegren. I think that's how you pronounce that. I very well could be wrong. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. But I think they got an absolute steal at that. I for sure thought Tampa was going to take him. And when Tampa didn't, I for sure thought Calgary was going to take him. And when Calgary didn't, I couldn't believe it. I think the Leafs, like I said, got an absolute steal on that. I think within the next 2 years or so, he's definitely going to be a force on the blue line. It's going to be awesome to watch. And I think he's going to turn into an elite defenseman. I really do. He's going to team up really well with Gardner and Riley there. I think he's going to fit in well. They've got a couple of older D-men who kind of just bumps and bruises. Pollock really didn't do as much as what I wanted him to. Marinson isn't old. He's young. But again, he didn't really turn into what I thought he was going to. And he played for Edmonton first, so I really thought I was high up on him when he first got there too. So not really sure what's going on there. A couple of bigger NHL trades that just happened. Panarin for Saad. Mind blown. I could not believe when I heard that happened. I definitely think it has something to do with money because of Taves and Kane making so much. They can't really afford to pay both. Yeah, it blew my mind completely. Saad going back to Chicago. That's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. Panarin going over there. I thought Panarin and Kane really played well together, and Panarin and Anisimov also played really well together. So I'm not really sure where he's going to be thrown over, into Columbus for sure. They don't really have that star caliber centerman like they do over on Chicago, so it'll be interesting to see for sure. But Columbus definitely just got a 100% all-star in that. So good for them, absolutely. Another big trade, or in my opinion, it was a big trade for sure. Philadelphia and St. Louis swapping Laterra and Shen. I definitely wasn't expecting that for sure. Shen absolutely came into his own last season, I thought. Again, that's definitely just my opinion. I've been reading a lot of different opinions online where some people did not think that he did, but I thought he played super well last year on the power play. Started becoming a good in between a two-way and a power forward almost. He just started putting up work last season. I thought he did really well. So them getting rid of him, I definitely caught me off guard. I for sure thought if they were going to trade a secondary centerman, it was going to be either Couturier or even Lofton, because I haven't really seen much of Lofton, and they were super high on him. Again, Shen can play the wing as well. So, I mean, it's just super, super weird trade. Laterra coming over from St. Louis there. Laterra had a good season 2 seasons ago playing on the STL line in STL. Funny that you can say that. It was Schwartz, Tarasenko, and Laterra. And they put up work. Like, numbers went up. They were absolutely phenomenal 2 seasons ago. And then last year, didn't really do the same. So I'm not really sure where that's going to play out for Philly. I think St. Louis definitely just got a phenomenal centerman slash winger in Shen. I've always loved Braden Shen. I've been following him since he was on the Wheat Kings back in the WHL. So like I said, I think the Blues definitely got a good piece out of that trade. It'll be interesting to see exactly where Laterra fits on Philly. Maybe they got another plan for that. Again, with Couturier playing center, maybe Scott Lofton's going to come up this year and play a little bit more. Be really interesting to see. Nolan Patrick just got drafted to the Flyers. He's also a centerman. So I don't know. I think it's going to be really interesting to see where that plays out. Maybe they're going to try Laterra on the wing, or maybe try Couturier in Shen's spot. Again, not really sure. I think it's going to be really interesting to see. All right, guys, one last trade that I want to talk to you guys about is the stuff that Arizona is doing right now. They just made a trade with Chicago to get Nicholas Chalmelson. I think that was a great pickup on their part. Definitely adds depth and some veteran presence to their blue line, which they definitely use or could use the help. So that was a great move on their part. And they just did a pretty blockbuster-ish trade with the New York Rangers. They gave away Anthony DeAngelo and the 7th overall pick for Derek Stepan and Antti Ranta. And I think that's huge, in my opinion, anyway. They just picked up a first-line centerman, or at least somebody who's been playing the first-line role for quite a while, so I think that's huge. And they picked up an extraordinary backup goalie in Antti Ranta. I don't know if he's going to take over the starting role. They just lost Mike Smith to Calgary, so I don't really think Chad Johnson or Antti Ranta are starting material, but I definitely think Ranta over Johnson for sure. I think that's definitely going to help them out either way. I've been reading a lot of things online. People are unhappy with this young Arizona GM. He doesn't really know his hockey, yada, yada, yada. I think he knows enough hockey. That's why he's the general manager of a hockey team. However, he keeps saying that he wants like a younger, faster, stronger team, and people are saying you don't get that by giving away the 7th pick and a prospect defenseman like DeAngelo. I've also been reading that DeAngelo isn't really the greatest sport and hasn't really been developing as quickly as what they want. So I can understand giving that away. I don't really think that it was too much to give away. They just did get like a great backup goalie who could potentially be a starter and a first-line centerman for a prospect in a draft that wasn't necessarily that deep, and in a defensive prospect that they were unhappy with. So hopefully that ends up working out great. New York just bought out Dan Girardi's contract, so if DeAngelo ends up developing the way that New York wants and panning out the way that everybody was hoping for, then he fills that role just completely for New York, which is great for them. I don't really know what New York's going to do about their centering role. Stepan played like big minutes, so I don't know where they're going to fill that void. Maybe they got something up their sleeves. But yeah, I definitely wanted to elaborate on that trade. I thought it was huge, and I feel Arizona's making moves. I don't know what they're going to be doing. They got a lot of youngsters over there right now. They got Duclair and Domi. They got Strome coming up, I'm guessing, this year. He just played his last year in juniors for the Otters. So, I mean, stepping at number 1 and Strome developing at number 2 doesn't really sound bad, especially if Strome's as good as what he's going to be. So I think Arizona might be on the track, or might be on the right track to something. Either way, I definitely wanted to hit that up because that was a huge trade, and I hope if you guys didn't see it, I covered it enough for you. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe some of you guys are Arizona fans. Maybe you guys are happy, not happy. You guys are accepting of the pieces, not really too sure. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your guys' thoughts were on the rest of the NBA draft and on some of these trades. Let me know where you guys are sitting with the NHL draft. Do you like where your team picked up or who your team picked up? Do you like where they're currently sitting? Are you guys expecting any more larger trades? I think I'm done for now anyway. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at itsDraggy. I will leave that in the description for you guys to know, and I will talk to you guys later.